Hello. I trust you're doing well. I want to thank you for tuning into this video and for your continued support of Unity in the Valley through this crisis. I want you to know we are doing well. We're doing well thanks to your prayers and your generous donations. So today, I'd like to begin with sharing a daily word. This daily word is from August the 8th, which was a Saturday a couple of weeks ago. And the word is aware. And the affirmation says, I grow in spiritual awareness. I am part of an infinite circle of spiritual light that illuminates the world. Knowing that I am one with God bolsters my faith and deepens my understanding of the great power and presence within me. During times of quiet contemplation, I touch this timeless truth and feel my mind, body, and soul shimmer with light. This awareness of my divine identity remains with me throughout the day, lifting my mood, invigorating my steps, and opening my heart to everyone I meet in the spirit of friendship and love. My sacred moments of prayer deepen my awareness of my spiritual connection with all beings. I see each one expressing their divinity uniquely. This realization lifts me to new heights of spiritual awareness. And from John chapter 12, verse 36, believe in the light so that you may become children of light. So let us now take a few moments to contemplate in the silence the meaning that this reading has for each of us. I am a being of light. I glow with radiating love, and happiness fills my being with gratitude. There is so much goodness in the world. And with my mind and my actions, I call that forth in myself and in everyone I meet. My mind is open and receptive. It is peaceful. It is still because it rests in the mind of God. And God said, let there be light. And that light is us. That light is all of life. That light is all of everything. So feeling our own inner glow, let's just take a moment to rest in the silence, listening deeply. Thank you, sweet Spirit. Thank you that before we even speak, you already know. You always know, even when we don't. We are so grateful for this unwavering connection, for this boundless, timeless love. And so we lift our eyes and we embrace this day with a resounding yes. And we go forth to be that which you have called us to be, which is no less than the light of the world. And so it is. This is our prayer and our decree, and we let it be.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. I find myself.
Today, I'd like to talk about communication. I'd like to talk about talking and listening. So I'm going to start with this little story that I love. There was a talkative turtle in the pond where he lived, and he talked, and nobody liked him because he would not shut up. And he was lonely, which probably made him talk all the more. And one day two new geese landed at the pond. And so the turtle comes up to him and he's talk. And the geese kind of look at each other after a while and they say, well, we must be moving on now. And the turtle says, oh, please take me to the next pond. I don't care where you go, just take me. And the bird said, well, you can't fly, so I don't know how that would happen. And the turtle thought of me, he says, I've got an idea. This'll work. Get a stick, and you put it in your beak, and you put it in your beak, and I'll hang on in the middle. And the geese said, well, that's pretty dangerous. You could fall to your death. And the turtle said, I'll take it. I know the value of silence. I can hang on there with my mouth, and I'll keep my mouth closed. So the turtle talked the geese into it, and that's what they did. So up into the sky they fly away. What a sight. Can you imagine two geese and a turtle hanging on a stick in the middle? Well, an animal below did see it. And the animal said, oh my gosh, to his companion, do you see that? What smart geese. They figured out how to transport turtles. That's amazing. Way to go, geese. Smart geese. To which the turtle said, it was my idea. Splat. Okay. Do we know when to be still, when to be quiet, and when to speak. And when we're listening to other people, do we look elsewhere and think, oh man, I'm going to say this next? And so immediately we go into rehearsing what we're going to say in response, rather than just being still and receiving. Why is it so hard sometimes to use our listening skills? Well, I believe it's because we're pretty full of ourselves. Pretty full of ourselves. So the next story for you. There was a Zen monk and his student who lived together in a small monastery. And one day, a passerby, another student, came, and he said, I would like to study with you, O great master. And the master said, well, first go speak to my student in any manner you choose, and then see if you belong here. So the monk goes into the garden, and he sees the student sitting there. The student was a one-eyed monk. So he says, oh, I'm going to show him how clever I am. I'm going to speak in sign language. So he tapped him on the shoulder, and when the monk came out of meditation and looked up, the visitor held up one finger to represent the Buddha, to which the student held up two. And the visitor thought, oh my gosh, I raised one finger, and he raised two. So the visitor raises a third finger, three, in which case the monk, the one-eyed monk, made a fist. And the guy turned and ran away. So he goes back to the master. He says, oh my gosh, I don't belong here. Your student is far wiser than I am. He surpasses me in intelligence tremendously. I'm so honored to have had a conversation with him, but I must go. And the old monk is really amazed, like, really? Really? Well, tell me about the conversation. What happened? To which the monk said, well, I went and I tapped him on the shoulder and I held up one finger to represent the Buddha, to which he held up two fingers to represent the Buddha and the Dharma, the teachings. And I thought, oh, that's brilliant. So I held up three fingers to represent the Buddha, the teachings, and the Sangha, the community. And to which case he held up his fist, signifying that they're all one. It's all the same. And I am so deeply humbled, I just have to go. And he ran off. A few moments later, here comes the one-eyed monk in, and he's just fuming. Where is that scoundrel? And the Zen master looked at him and said, well, what happened? He said, well, there I was, minding my own business, deep in meditation, when he rudely tapped me on the shoulder and held up one finger to represent my one eye. And I thought, wow. So I held up two fingers to say, so you've got two fingers. Good for you. Good for you. To which case he held up three fingers, saying, well, between us all, there's only three eyes. And he said, and I raised my fist to punch him in the nose when he turned and ran away. Okay, there you have it. Same set of circumstances, different points of view. Different points of view. This story illustrates that no matter how we are listening, most of the time we have our filters. We have our filters that everything passes through. And part of that filter are expectations of what the other person is trying to say, what the other person is doing, the motivations for it. And all of this creates a filter. So we think we've heard someone. We think we know what we said, right? I know exactly what I said. Not. So, How do we get to the place where we can truly be a clear mirror, we can truly receive, where we can truly commune with anyone? How do we get to that place? Well, here's my third story. Another Zen monk is in the monastery when another student comes up and says, I'm very accomplished in the teachings. I know all there is to know, except I can't be certain of that, and I would like to study with you just to see if there's something I could learn, something more I've missed, something I could learn. And so the Zen master said, sure, come have tea with me. So they sit down. The master monk puts out 2 cups of tea, and he starts pouring tea into the cup for his guest. And it reaches its capacity, and he keeps pouring, and he keeps pouring, and he keeps pouring, to where the monk jumped up. Oh my gosh, what are you doing? I'm drowning in tea. And then the Zen master said, well, let your mind become an empty cup, and you might learn something. Okay, 3 stories. 3 different ways of communicating, motivations, interpretations, and all of that. So, I like to talk. You know that, those of you who've met me know I love to talk. I love a good story. And life is about a good story. We tell our stories all the time, and that's how we connect. That's how we connect. Do we connect in positive ways? Or do we feel connected when we rally the forces? When we grumble? When we hold up our fist to hit someone who doesn't agree with us? Or we feel insulted or betrayed when none of that was the intention of anyone else? None of that. We can become an empty cup. And then we'll know when to hang on to the stick and when not to open our mouth, right? Because nobody wants to go splat and live to tell about it. So, it is through prayer and meditation that we become the empty cup. Now, it's okay in your prayers to get it out. I encourage that. Get it out and talk. But prayer is a conversation with God. It's not just a brain dump. And then, oh, I feel so much better. I've told God all about it and how I feel. Well, God already knows. What you don't know, and what I don't know when I'm in that mode, is what God might be trying to say to me. So when we sit down to meditate, we can meditate walking. That's another technique. We can meditate doing anything. Cleaning the house, doing the laundry, changing the oil, whatever. We can meditate at any time. And some people erroneously believe that the purpose of meditation is to empty our minds of all thought. That's virtually impossible, in my opinion. Silence is not absence, the absence of thought. It is the absence of self. Self. So when we release our opinions, we're also rich in opinions, all of us are, we have our opinions. When we release what we think we know and become the empty cup, then the quality of our thinking actually changes. We still have thoughts, but they're not being generated from our egos. They're not being generated from our personalities. They are coming to us on divine wings, coming to us. That is our guidance. That is our inspiration. That is the source of our joy. All of that. But we have to be able to receive it. There is no spot where God is not. So when we're in conversation, we can be having a human ego conversation, or we can be having a conversation with each other that is so mutually satisfying that we are filled with love and appreciation for our friends, our families, our neighbors, our rose bush, our lime trees, our cats, our dogs, our fish, whatever. The love is prevalent and palpable. I get those P words out. Yes, yes. That is communication. The root word is commune. Commune. So when we're having a debate, or when we are just simply telling a story, attune one ear out, but keep the other ear tuned in. Because when you have your ear tuned in, you'll know what to say, what not to say, when to simply be still and know, and when to speak, and when to speak. So I wish you a blessed week full of great stories, great times, and much communion with the Spirit within you and all around you. Blessings.
I'm called to be a healer for all humanity. I am called to be a dreamer, believe in what can be. I am called to be a maker, be an instrument of peace. I am called to be a giver of abundance I receive. I am called to be a prayer, living out the truth I seek. I am called to be everything. I am called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. I am the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We are called to be. You are called to be a mother, to nurture family. You are called to be a brother, be strength in times of need. You are called to be a neighbor, see a friend in all you meet. You are called to be a leader, to build community. You are called to be a prayer, living out the truth you seek. You are called to be everything. You are called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. You are the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We are called to be. We are called to be listeners, set the broken-hearted free. We are called to be forgiveness, where pain has run too deep. We are called to be compassion, be the wind beneath each wing. We are called to make communion, only then will we succeed. We are called to be a prayer, living out the truth we seek. We are called to be everything. We are called to be
I'd like to bless our offerings, your donations. I'd like to express extreme gratitude for your generosity. We are here because we are committed to be here on every level. So I bless the offering. I bless the stamps in the mail that delivers your offering or any other way that you give. And we follow the guidance of God and apply these funds for the growth and sustainability of this community. And so it is. Bless you. Amen.